And it is officially 11 o'clock, which means it's officially time to kick off this episode of LSOP Live. And so this week, we're talking about force and motion. We're going to start with some introductions. I'm Brian.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brenna. Hey, everybody. I'm Maud.
All right, and we're going to show you some force and motion stuff today, and we're going to do a couple special things. First off, I think everything we're doing today is something people could build. This is all stuff we want you to give a try. And then two, a lot of the stuff we're doing happens kind of quickly. And so we've got Adam over there in the controls, and he's going to fire up some slow motion videos so that we can watch some of the stuff that happens a little bit quickly. So if you miss it the first time, don't worry, we got some video to help you out. And I'm going to start with a little force and motion demonstration for you. And I've got this cup here, and this cup is something I'm really fond of. This was a gift to a student, this little physics mug. And I've got a piece of yarn connected to it, and I have a nut connected to the yarn. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to hold the mug up in the air like this. And the nut is set so that when it swings, I don't want it to hit the mug. So if I drop the nut, it's going to do that. So I have the string over my finger, and the mug is just a little bit above the table, and the nut is right there. If I take this, and if I drop the nut, I'm just releasing this mug, and it's going to go hurtling downward toward the table. But this is a mug that I'm really, really partial to. I don't want to break this mug, but I don't think it will. Let's go ahead and let go of the nut and see what happens. Whoa! Saved in the nick of time, saved in the nick of time. And it was saved by the string wrapping around my finger. So when I dropped it, this thing started to move in a circle. And then it went tighter and tighter and tighter. And as it went tighter and tighter and tighter, I got a lot of friction on the string. And the net result is the cup is saved in the nick of time. And the string is held in place by the friction on my finger. And this is tight. This is tight enough to actually be slightly uncomfortable. And this is something you can try. You saw what I did. I just have to have something heavy, and I've got a nut at this end. I got a piece of yarn. I would say if you're going to try this, don't try it with something highly breakable, but this is something which you can do. It's not a trick. It's a physics thing. And that's how everything we're doing today is going to work. And now Maud is going to show us another thing that involves danger to some dishware. Maud, what do you got?
All right, so here I've just got a piece of pretty slippery fabric, and I've got 4 glasses here. So I'm just going to spread these out a little evenly, and just going to fill them all with some water.
I think I know where this is going. Is she going to pull this out from underneath the glasses without spilling any water?
You know what, Brian? I'm going to try it. I think it'll work, but you never know. We're going to put Franklin in one of the glasses because
Franklin
must
and
have
remember,
consistency.
Franklin's named after Rosalind Franklin, which is awesome. All our ducks are named after female scientists.
All right.
So Maud's got the tablecloth near the edge of the table. Maud, don't do it. We don't want to break the glasses. We don't want to hurt Franklin.
All right.
Don't do it, Maud. Don't do it. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Let's see that one more time. Maud, go ahead and set it up. Oh, wait, here it is in slow motion. Here it is. Instant replay. Maud yanks the fabric, whoomph, and it's out from underneath the glasses handily. Perfect, perfect. And let's see that one more time in real life. So 4 glasses on top of there. And Maud, if people want to try this, what do they have to be aware of?
So just notice that I am pulling it up and then down against the table, and I'm going very, very fast. I'm going as fast as I possibly can. Oh.
Oh, we need to have completion on this. We need to have success.
I do, yeah.
All right. So one more shot. And you saw it on the instant replay. Maud has got this. Maud has got this. And if it helps you, you can push away the chair and step back and give yourself a little bit more room.
Yeah.
Okay. Cloth is up and pulling it sharply down. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
All right, Maud. All right, Maud. Well done. Well done. And now, before we go into our next demonstration, we're going to do some things with circular motion. And I'm going to ask you all a question. And here's my question. The moon is up in the sky. You've seen it up in the night sky. And it's going in a big circle around the Earth. What's the force that holds the moon up? Oh, and folks are already chiming in. Oh my gosh. We got gravity thrust, or there's no force holding the moon up. And number one thing people seem to be coming up with is gravity. Folks are saying gravity is the force that's holding the moon up. Okay, now we're gonna think about this for a second, because you know which way gravity pulls. Gravity pulls down. Gravity is actually pulling the moon toward the Earth. What's the force holding the moon up? There is no force. And Brenna's going to do something else. She's going to spin something in a circle over her head. It's going to be a glass of water. And the question is, what is the force that holds the glass on the tray that holds the water in the glass? And the answer is, Brenna, what's the answer? What's the force holding it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's actually the acceleration towards the center of a circle.
Oh my gosh, it's a force and acceleration thing. What?
Alrighty.
Brenna is spinning this glass on a tray, and she took it over her head. Oh my gosh. All the way over her head. Multiple times. And that is just a glass of water on a tray. There's no trick here. And she just took it and spun it over her head, and it didn't spill, and there's no force. There's no force making that happen. It's just, as Brenna says, it's that circular motion, it's that acceleration, which is an awesome, awesome thing. Well done, Brenna. Now, Maud has got a little something over here where she's got a chain, and it's on a drill on a little wheel. And if Maud fires up the drill, that chain is going to spin. Let's see what happens. Maud, tell us what we got.
All right, so I've just got that drill, and then I've got this just little thing here, and this is just a regular little chain. And I'm gonna start slow, slowly speed it up. Ooh,
Whoops.
Jumped off.
it's sprightly.
And she's spinning the chain.
And what I'm doing is I'm creating a tension force that is strong enough.
Oh, jeez.
that it likes to jump. And I just got to make sure I angle it.
Okay, Maud is spinning it faster and faster, and you can see it kind of like bumping out into a circle. Oh, did you see that? That was a chain, and it rolled across the table like a wheel.
It did.
All right, we got to see one more time. Maud, give us one more time, and then we're going to go for the slow motion view of this. So Maud's got a chain, and as she spins it faster and faster and faster, you can watch that chain kind of plump out into a circle. And when she lets it go,
There it goes.
Oops.
Easy.
All right, spinning it, and then there's a tension force holding it in that shape. And she pops it off the wheel, and it's a chain wheel.
There she goes.
Chain wheel, awesome. And we're going to show a slow motion version of this. So we took the video earlier. And it turns out because it's spinning in that circle, as Maud says, there's a tension force that's holding it in that shape, and it causes that thing to behave. One more time. And there it goes. Oh my gosh, look. It's a little loose piece of chain, but it's rolling like a wheel. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now the next thing we're going to look at are some things that have to do with gravity. And that was another thing that people asked. Last week we asked people, what do you want to see in the show? And folks said force and motion. But another thing people asked for was gravity. And we're going to do some things that involve gravity. In particular, we're going to look at things that involve free fall. And I'll over to Brenna. Okay, Brenna, what do you got?
Alrighty, so I have this bucket here. And this bucket, last week we made oobleck, or a week before, or whenever we did. I lose track of time, but this is the oobleck bucket. This is the cornstarch bucket. So we reuse things here in Little Shop.
If you visit the shop, you'll see we never throw anything away. We just let stuff. You can actually see behind Brenna. We never throw anything away.
Yeah, but I have these two little ducks. These are Franklin's cousins. I don't know their names yet. We'll have to think of some later. But I have them hooked to rubber bands that are hooked to the bottom of this bucket. Ooh, let's see. There you go. Now you can see that. And something really cool is when you're in free fall, things are weightless, right? But as soon as they hit a surface again, they have weight again, and we can do some cool things with this phenomenon. So if I throw this bucket in the air,
The ducks are in the bucket. What? What?
they jumped in there. Let's do that again.
So when Brenna puts that bucket up in the air, whoa, it's kind of like you turned off gravity for a second.
I did, and then when I catch it again, gravity turns back on and sucks those guys right into the bucket.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So the ducks ended up going in there. I'm going to show you something that you can try. And this one's a little messy. This is a little messy, but it's kind of awesome. Right here, I've got a bottle. And I took this bottle and I made a couple of holes in the side. Okay, and right now, there's a hole here and there's a hole here. And if I open up the lid a little bit, you can see water comes out the side. Okay, so a little water coming out the side. Right now, there's no water coming out because I've got a lower pressure inside here. So if you think back to the pressure show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and water is going to come pouring out of these holes because I'm going to open the lid. When I take that bottle and throw it up in the air, it's kind of like Brenna says, kind of like you turn off gravity. Things appear weightless. They're not, but they appear like that. And if you want to know the details, you come to Colorado State University, take my class. We'll talk about this in week 6. It's going to be awesome. But when you're in free fall, it's as if you've turned off gravity. And so gravity is the force that's pulling this water down. It's causing this stuff to squirt out the sides. And if I can turn off gravity, I don't get that. So if I go ahead and I'm going to move my chair out of the way. And I'm going to open this up. Water comes out. But if I throw it up in the air, while it's in the air, there's no water coming out of the holes. Check it out. I'll hold it like this, drop it. During the drop, no water. No water comes out of the holes at all. And then when I catch it, it comes back again. So what we're paying attention to is during the fall, it's as if I've turned off gravity and I get no water coming. Water all over the floor, and during the instant of the fall, nothing. And that's something that you can try. You can try that. You can see I just made this with a little bottle that had some Italian soda in it. And I just poked a couple holes in the side. And as long as the bottle's in the air, liquid doesn't come out. What I suggest is building one of these and playing catch with your friends. And the key is keep the bottle in the air as much as you can if you want to stay dry. And next, we're over to Brenna for another thing. And here's something we posed in the notes for the show that we posted. You know when you go over that first hill on a roller coaster, it feels like your stomach rises up? Well, Brenna's going to tell us how this works.
So, like Brian said, when you go over a hill in a roller coaster, it feels like your stomach is rising up because it actually is. Your stomach has a certain level of inertia or resistance to movement. And so when you move really fast, your stomach's going to stay in the same place. But if you're going down, your stomach is moving up. So I have this little person here that I made a cutout of. And if I hold them very still...
And Brenna, can I just talk a little bit about how that's put together?
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like I had a little orange belly on this person. And it's suspended by some stretchy springs. And actually, it turns out your stomach inside your torso is basically suspended by some elastic ligaments. So this is actually a good model for how you're actually put together.
Yep, and this is just a piece of foam board, and then I decorated it to be a member of the Little Shop of Physics.
The Little Shop Live team is what it looks like.
So I'm going to drop this, and if you watch closely, you're going to see the stomach move up. So if I drop, let's try that again.
Well, I think what I actually see happening is the stomach's not moving. What's moving is the little figures moving down the stomach is staying still.
Yes.
And so it looks like, oh, I see what's happening.
The springs compress.
Oh my gosh.
And then they extend again once gravity comes back, though it never leaves.
So your stomach really does rise up in your torso, which is kind of awesome.
Yes.
And wait a minute, do we have a slow motion version of this?
I think we do.
Okay, here's Brenna holding this little creature up. And when she drops it, check it out for just a second. The tummy stays put. And let's see that one more time. We're gonna loop that a few times. We've got time to appreciate this. So here's you on the roller coaster. and you're getting ready for that first big hill. And your stomach is there, and then when you go over the hill, you go down, and just for a second, your stomach stays put. And it's basically pulled up by those stretchy ligaments that hold it in place. And so it's that bounciness. So when it feels like your stomach rises up in your chest, it actually does. It actually does. You can see you're going down and your stomach is not for just a second. And that's the thing. It's staying put. It's like Brenna says, it's an inertia. It's an inertia thing. That's part of the story. Now I'm going to show you another way that we can demonstrate this fact that when things are in free fall, it's as if we're not having any gravity. So I have these tubes here. When I turn them over, they make noise. Call these groan tubes. But if I take this tube and when it's in the air, it's not going to make any noise, because when it's in the air, it's in free fall. It's as if I've turned off gravity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to jump up and down. And when I'm on the ground, you're going to hear it making a noise. When I'm in the air, it'll be quiet. So I'm going to flip it over. When I'm in the air, nothing. And you don't hear it because when I'm in free fall, it's as if I've turned off gravity. And that's a nice demonstration. Same thing that Brenna saw. When you're in the air, so the tubes are going down, the things inside the tubes are not. It's as if you've turned off gravity. Things are weightless, and you get these interesting effects. And then Maud is going to show us something awesome that works this way as well.
So here I've just got a regular old Slinky, and I'm just going to extend it as far as it'll go, and then lift it off the table a little bit. And what's really interesting that's going to happen here is that you think that I'm just going to drop this, and then I just want you to think about what you think will hit first. Will the top of the Slinky hit the bottom of the Slinky first, or will the bottom of the Slinky hit the table first?
Whoa. It looked like the Slinky slinked, if I can use that word. It looks like the Slinky just compressed and all came together. Awesome.
It hits itself before it hits the table, and then...
And we got a Slinky duck, which might make this even more apparent.
This is Franklin's ant.
Franklin's ant, yes.
Awesome.
Alrighty, and then I just want to get him to stop moving.
So Maud's holding this up in the air. You can see the little duck on the end of a Slinky. And then when she drops it, watch what the Slinky does. And it all comes together. And the Slinky hits the duck before the duck hits the table. And just to make it clear what's happening, let's take a slow motion view of that. And so here's the Slinky and the duck, and we took this earlier with Maud. And so Maud drops the top of the Slinky, and watch it, it compresses. And let's see that one more time. Slinky compresses, and then hits the duck. And so it all collapses and turns into one. And let's let that loop. That is awesome. There goes the Slinky down, 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 and slams into the duck before the duck hits the table. Now, one of the things which we like to do in Little Shop of Physics is if we're going to do something, if it's worthwhile to do something, it's worthwhile to do it. It's worthwhile to do it bigger.
Bigger and better.
Bigger and better. Oh, yeah. And so we did this outside and did bigger. Maud, show us the Slinky that we took outside.
We used this big guy.
This is our giant rainbow Slinky. Oh, yeah. And this one we had to go outside, and we had to do this off of a ladder. So a giant Slinky off of a ladder. There's Maud holding it up, and let's see how it goes. And it pancakes. Wow. It all goes together. So before it hits the ground, which is kind of crazy because you would expect it all to fall together, but it doesn't. It doesn't. There it goes. Oh, wow. Breathtakingly slowly. Look at this. Slinky is pancaking, picking up little loops of Slinky on the way down. And the bottom of the Slinky has not moved at all. One more time. Let's do it one more time and do it really slowly and watch. Maud, let's go at the top. top of the Slinky is going to start to fall. The bottom stays put until it all comes together. And that's related to gravity and free fall and Slinkies. And I want you to think about that. And then you're going to come to Colorado State University, take my class. We'll talk more. But now we have another poll for you folks. And I'm going to ask you a question. If something is going to, if I'm going to say hit a ball, throw a ball at a surface and have it hit the surface, which is going to make more force? If the ball bounces or if it lands with a thud? Or in fact, are those two going to be exactly the same? Let's see what folks think. Ooh, man. This is pretty, I think what's out in front is the forces are going to be the same. That's our number one choice right now. That's way out in front. 50% of the vote, so we've avoided a runoff, which is fantastic. So 53% of the vote say bouncing and landing with a thud make the same force. I think we need to try it out and see what the story is. And Brenna, show us what you got.
Alrighty, so I have these nifty little balls. One is called a sad ball, and it's sad because it doesn't really bounce. The other side is a happy ball because it does bounce. So I've made this little pendulum here. This side is happy, bounces. This side, sad. So we'll see what you guys, which ones of you were right. And I have my block here. It's got some googly eyes because I love googly eyes. But I'm going to hit this block with the sad side first. So if I put my pendulum back together and I pull it back slightly.
And it looks like it moves it, but it doesn't knock it over.
Yeah, but now if we switch it to the happy side, the bouncy side.
So now it's hitting, and that was landing with a thud, and now we're landing with a bounce. Knocks it right over.
And it's because this happy side has a greater bounciness, so it has a greater impulse. And the greater the impulse, the greater the force exerted.
Wow. Awesome, Brenna.
Cool.
And Brenna used a word called impulse, which again, you're going to come to Colorado State University, take my class. We will hook you up. We will teach you what that means. But the moral of the story is bouncing makes more force than landing with a thud. Who knew? Who knew? And that brings us to the collision section of the show. And then Maud is going to do a little collision thing with a stack of coins. Okay, and this one really looks like magic. I love this one.
All right, so here I've just got a little stack of, these are actually just really thin washers. And I've just grabbed one off the top here. And I'm just gonna take it and slide it and try to hit the bottom of the stack. And then you see I just knocked one out there.
You didn't knock the stack over. You just knocked one thing out. Whoa.
There's another one. Oof.
Oh, now you knocked the stack over. Okay.
I hit it with my finger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if Maud slides that washer and hits it, doesn't knock it apart, it just knocks one out the bottom. And if you don't have washers, you can do this with coins. I think nickels work real well. Stack of nickels, slide the one in, knocks one out the bottom, and the rest of the stack all stays put. So each one you bring in only knocks one out. Awesome. And that is something people can absolutely try. Awesome. And that's a little collision demonstration. And now, what we want to do next is this. When you have a collision, the force is bigger for the collision than it is if you just hit, like Brenna is getting back there setting up, and you can see she's behind me and there's a board there. Now, if Brenna pushes on that board, she can't push hard enough to break the board. When you have a collision, the force of the collision is significantly larger. So when things slam together and the time of the impact is really, really short, the force can be quite a bit larger. So what Brenna's going to do, I think Brenna's going to take that board and she's just going to smack it with her hand, and then her hand is going to collide with the board. Now, don't try this. Don't try this. We have set this up. It's a very particular kind of board. We set it in a very particular way. Don't just go hitting boards. Just don't hitting boards. We've set this up so that the force to break the board is a lot smaller than the force necessary to break any bones in your hand. This is the way we've set it up. This is a safe thing. So Brenna's going to take this board, give it a good smack. And Brenna, what are the things you want to be aware of?
Alrighty, so first, you want to make sure that your hand is moving really, really fast. Because if you slow down, it's going to hurt a lot more than if you go really, really fast. So I got to get my hand really moving to produce a big enough force to go straight through this board. The next thing you want to do is make a fist like this, and I'm going to hit my hand flat in the middle. And if I do it really fast, then I can successfully break this board. So if I stand off to the side and make sure my hand's good.
All right, and let's see the pieces. Pick up the pieces there. And Brenna handily broke that board. Oh my gosh. And so I'm a little bit more intimidated by Brenna than I was previously.
Don't mess with me, Brian. Don't mess with me.
That is awesome. And it's that force of the collision is enough to actually break the board. Now don't just go flapping your hands on boards. And here's our slow motion view of this. Here's Brenna bringing her hand down on the board and right on through. And let's say that one more time, just because of the sheer awesomeness of watching Brenna break boards.
I feel so strong.
Look at that. And her hand just goes right through it. And so oh my gosh, look at that. The board is starting to split, and it splits. Handily broke that thing. Now don't just go whacking on boards. We set this up in a very particular way so that nobody's getting hurt except for the board. Another thing that people ask when we're looking for, like, what can we treat on our next shows? People said energy was the thing that they wanted to see something about. And so we thought, we're going to finish off our force and our motion show by doing something with energy. And Maud has got a whole line of popsicle sticks. And the popsicle sticks are bent. And when you bend the popsicle stick, it works like a spring. And springs exert forces. But the other thing that happens is these popsicle sticks store a lot of energy. And let's take a look at how Maud built this. There's a whole network of popsicle sticks which are interleaved.
So this is called, in case anybody wants to do this at home, you could look up YouTube videos, and this is just called a Cobra weave. So I'm going just under and over and wedging sticks, and you can see that it's putting a lot of strain on them, and they're bending, and so I have to bend them to weave them up. And I've just got a few that I wanted to finish my stack off here with.
So Cobra weave.
Cobra weave indeed. Alrighty.
It sounds like it's a Cobra because you got the whole diamond thing going on, but also because this thing looks like it's poised to strike. That's what I'm thinking.
Alrighty, yep. Ooh. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pent up energy here, if you can see that. Like if I kind of like let my finger go a little bit, things start to bend. So if I let go of this right here, it's gonna just
oh my gosh. And I think she should let go. What do folks think? Give me a thumbs up if you think she should let go. Let's see it. Oh, I'm seeing lots of thumbs up out there. Okay, Maud, let's do it. That was fantastic. And let's see a slow motion view of that same thing so that you can see the magic in slow motion. We did a little slow motion videos earlier today. Oh yeah, and so here, there's Brenna breaking the board, which is awesome. Let's see a slow motion view of the Cobra weave popsicle sticks. All right, here it comes. Whoa. Oh my gosh, look at that. And that was a longer one we did back in the shop. That was fantastic. And there's another view. Look at it go. And so the spring force launches it in the air, and the stored energy gives you quite the result. Strong finish. That's a strong finish. And that is our grand finale, which ties together this week's show, which was Force in Motion, with next week's show, which is going to be on energy. And we hope to see all of you back. And then don't hesitate to write any comments in the chat. Don't hesitate to reach out to us during the week. We're Little Shop of Physics. You can find us easily on the internet. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next time.